if you want to hear something interesting, stick around for this video, because I want to share something that I think is very important. Sometimes a break can do you more good than it can do you harm. And so what I mean is this. So for the last 3-4 weeks, I've basically taken a break from actively cold approaching. So what does that even mean? So whenever I see a beautiful girl walking down the street, I would almost always approach, connect, talk, figure out the situation in order for me to get laid. Let's keep it simple. But for the last 3-4 weeks, I on purpose entered into an introspective, introverted mode. Stay at home. If I see a beautiful girl, I don't approach. I saw two ones today, very totally my type. Didn't approach. So I'm avoiding the approaching on purpose. It's like a planned break, a scheduled break. I'm probably gonna keep being on a break for another month. And guess what? Out of this break, a lot of things were born, a lot of new ideas, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. You need to pivot in some direction. You need, to think about your life in the direction that you're heading. Otherwise, you'll just be in the same place for like 10 years, And nobody wants that. That's like depression, right? And so you have to think about things. And also, from isolation and solitude, a lot of interesting things are born. When you're out talking to girls all the time, you can't think. But when you're by yourself, the whole day, every day, all of a sudden your mind thinks about like, oh, I could change this, I could change that. Oh, this is what I want, this is what I think, this is what I believe. All of a sudden you get, like, for a lack of a better word, in touch with yourself. And it's important because that self-knowledge then takes you to the next level, right? So when you go and take action again, you are now, somebody just fell down. Holy shit. Wow, somebody fell down. But I think he's like a young guy, he'll be fine. In any case, back to the point. So we're here. Self-knowledge, it takes you to the next level. If you reflect, you need reflection. The ancient Stoics, everybody reflected, okay? Reflection is what takes you to the next level. So now, long story short, I found out something very interesting. When it comes to men and when it comes to dating and when it comes to like putting yourself out there, a lot of men believe that they don't have to do the practice. Like essentially, if you boil it down, you put yourself in an artificial environment. This is what cold approach is. You walk around, you talk to women on the streets, and what do? You practice eye contact, you practice speaking, you practice being spontaneous, you practice just putting yourself out there. When you go on dates, you practice like what it's like being on a date, bringing girls back home, going in for the kiss, being bold. Every time you deal with a woman, you're essentially also dealing with yourself, your insecurities, your weak points. You see things that you could get better at socially. Every time, even if you go to a nightclub, you stay sober. If you meet a group of girls and they basically, their friends, basically are like, being mean to you or something like that, you learn how to deal with that. So you're always like put into an environment of socializing where you're learning, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, right? Which is beautiful. It's beautiful. But what is the point of all of it? Well, cold approach itself will give you results. So when you go out, you meet a woman, you get a result, right? But it also makes you a different person. And so I was thinking about this today because I've been recently going to a lot of cafes, and I met so many girls working in cafes over the years that I wasn't necessarily cold approaching. I basically went, got my coffee. I always get coffee, and I do like a quick chat with the girls, and I'm not even trying to pick up the girls. And I've been living here in Spain for like 10 years, and I've hooked up with so many girls from cafes without even trying to pick them up. Because, why? Because I am the person who's confident and charming and has things to say and feels comfortable in his own skin from cold approach. Does that make sense? Like, it's all like been built from cold approach, so that when I am in normal environments, when somebody introduces me to some chick, or I'm in a house party, or basically I go to a cafe, I'm able to then just be myself without having to try to achieve anything. And that's very attractive, and it gives me a lot of results in normal life. Now, what's the point of making this video? A lot of guys, they think and they feel like, oh, I don't need to practice, I don't need to put myself out there, I don't need to do cold approach. But if you're being real with yourself, when life gives you apples, when you're in a cafe and the waitress, the barista talks to you, when you're in a restaurant, when you're in a house party, when you're at a university school event, when you're traveling, when you do meet that beautiful chick in a hostel, in a normal environment, you're not sharp. You don't know how to speak. You don't know how to put yourself out there. You don't know how to communicate, how to flirt, how to talk. So essentially, you can't win in the normal situations. And I've seen a lot of men that I've coached over the years, or rather guys who wanted to buy my program, but they didn't end up buying it, and they said, yeah, I'm gonna do this on my own. I think, I'm gonna take my life in my own hands, thank you. Maybe coaching isn't for me, before they buy. I mean, they never ended up buying, but you get the point, right? And then I check in a year or two later, and they don't do anything because there's no structure. They're thinking that, hey, I can do this just from not trying. Like, you have to try. Like, you get the point. Like, you have to learn. Okay, this is the crazy thing that a lot of men just don't want to admit. And this is why I got results. I admitted I had to learn how to socialize. It's like a taboo in our society. Like, you can't, it's almost like in a weird way, you can't say like, I lack social skills, You have to learn. Like what I did, I took mentorship from other men. I read books. I watched detailed breakdowns on YouTube. I listened to audiobooks. Whatever I could get my hands on. I even traveled to other countries to learn from men back in the day. So basically, I would pay for my own tickets and ask them, like, hey, can I learn for you for free? Like, I would do whatever it takes to learn in person, in the flesh, And everything I could do, because I knew I lacked social skills. And I wasn't going to learn that in school. I wasn't going to learn that through my, childhood friends. I wasn't going to learn that anywhere. So I had to go somewhere and get the material, right? And then also, I had to go out and I had to practice. I had to go out and I had to put myself out there, right? And for me, when I started to put myself out there, it was very clear to me. When I talked to my first 5 women, it was very clear to me, hey, this is something I need to work on. Like, the first girl that I stopped on the street, like, for day game, my first thought was like, yo, I need a lot more reps. The first date I went on, I'm like, yo, I need a lot more reps, and I need a lot more information, and I need a lot more knowledge, This is gonna take some time, and it's worth investing in this because socializing is everything. A lot of people think that their career and so on and so forth is everything, but it isn't really true, because everywhere you go, you have to deal with humans. Whether you're an athlete, you work in a corporate office, you're running a business, you're trying to sell something, you're always dealing with people. You're always gonna deal with people. You're always basically marketing yourself. You're always basically putting yourself out there, okay? And so if you don't know how to speak to other humans, you're not gonna do well in life. And also, if you don't know how to speak to the opposite sex, when life gives you apples, sure, let's say you don't want to do cold approach. When life gives you apples, a normal situation, you're just like, let's say you meet a girl at a house party, you're just like, hello, she's not gonna want to sleep with you, dog. And some people, some men, they go around, they think that it's their car and it's their watch, and if they get like the muscles, it's gonna all work out. No, bro, you're awkward, and you can fix that, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is a massive insecurity that a lot of men have. A lot of men just simply don't want to admit that meeting women is a skill, and like it's something you can get better at, and you currently don't have the skills. Like, why is that so hard? For me, when I was a beginner, that was like the easiest thing for me to admit, because I'm like, if I admit it to myself, I can just go to the next level. And so this is something for you guys to think about, that it is something that helps you. Like when I go to a cafe and I meet some girl working in the cafe, I'm not thinking about, hitting on the chick. I just go to get my coffee. But when I'm getting my coffee, jokes come out, flirting, eye contact. Basically, it's just like, I'm just being attractive automatically, because it's what I do every day or every week or every month. Does that make sense? And also, last thing I want to say, and I think this is going to be massively helpful for a lot of people. I don't really like cold approach. In a weird way. I hate it and I love it. So, what you're going to notice, especially if you're skilled, is most humans that you talk to, men and women, they're just like, I don't know. I don't want to say these words, but they're in the matrix. They're sort of following social norms, social conditioning, and they're not that fun to talk to. Especially when you're a complete stranger, they might treat you in a way or whatever. Like, it's not that fun. But what's fun is essentially when things are going really well, when you meet that girl who's like cool and fun, it's really fun. When you meet that dude in a nightclub and you're like, bro, let's be wingman tonight. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And then you bring 2 chicks back home. That's really fun. When you find women, and when you find other men as friends that you build some kind of synergy with, it's like the most fun thing to do. Like when you meet other humans, let's just say it like that, humans that you have synergy with, holy shit, the jokes, the banter, the laughter, having a beer together, talking, hooking up, like everything is just, it makes life better. Because look, even when I made this video, right? Like, look around me, there's just like humans everywhere, you know? And I'm not even on a busy street. And so everywhere around you, there's always people, men, women. If you only knew how to talk to people, your life would change. A lot of men don't admit that to themselves, but if you do, your life will change. Now, that's all I wanted to say in this video today. If you like this video, like the goddamn video, comment down below, subscribe. This is gonna go on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And as always, if you want coaching, check out the link at the top of the description. You could find all my programs there. If you're one of those few men who are ready to step into your social power, I'm here to help you through my coaching. And also, it's nothing to be ashamed about or embarrassed about, because in my own journey, that's what I did. I had to go and seek help of others to become proficient in socializing. So it's normal, you know? Like, if you don't know how to do something, you know, like build a watch or, I don't know, climb a wall, you go and you find people who know how to do it and you ask them how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the most normal thing, my friends. So anyway, that's all I had to say. Much love to everybody watching my videos. Today I just wanted to make a simple video. Hopefully this will get you motivated. Hopefully this will get you started and take you to that next level. Peace.